section of ODM in government, there's a section of ODM in opposition, but those are all what we call political systematics, survival tactics. So for them, I don't know what SIFUNA, where the SIFUNA is standing, but what I can see is that, and I said this one in the morning today, SIFUNA in 2024, when William Samoei Ruto called for a dialogue, still with the young people, SIFUNA was in the front line, saying that there is no need for that dialogue. Ruto must go. I agree with him on everything about Ruto must go. And in fact, if Ruto was to go, it would be urgent as soon as possible. But where I'm conflicted and disagree with SIFUNA is the shift in the position. If at that time he said that there is no need for dialogue and Ruto must go, how fast was it that today he's telling us that because now the dialogue has been called by Raila Odinga, it is now time for people to sit down and have that dialogue? Then it's a double stand. Because this dialogue still is going to be between the generations and the system. And the system is generally William Samoei Ruto. So SIFUNA must maintain his stand. We should not reduce this conversation into who is calling for it. Because now it appears like if Ruto is calling for dialogue, it is bad. If Raila is calling for dialogue, it's not good. We are saying that if the contents of the dialogue are the same things that were discussed in the NADCO report, then there's no need for that. That taxpayers' money that they want to invest in taking people from point A to point B to Diani to Naivasha to take chapati and mandazi and tea can be used to other things. But let them implement the NADCO. That way we are going to ensure that we have a safe space for all Kenyans. But let me also say that if you look at history, in 1976 in South Africa, young people rose up to put the government to question, and they were demonized and they were shut down. And today, if you go to South Africa right now, they are the people who are being hailed as champions. Any young person in Kenya should not feel ashamed for standing out for what is right. Any young person should not feel condemned for standing up for what is right. This is the time to put up the critical questions and get answers for them. We have a responsibility to protect this country. You know, it's surprising that you see people who are not certain of being here the next 20 years trying to take the center stage and the front line in championing for issues around the future. You get that? And I want to tell the youth, if we do not take space and call them out, we stand a risk of suffering the burdens of the mistake they shall have made today. And that's why we are saying Ruto must be a one-term. We must stand out and push ourselves. Personally, I have a personal interest to ensure that Kenya Kwanza regime serves a one-term. That is my responsibility, and I'm committed to mobilize and work with young people across the country to ensure that we end the term of this regime that has led us to the mess that we are in today. Right now, we cannot talk confidently about the education funding model. We cannot talk confidently about the health sector. We cannot talk proudly about the issue around corruption, because the government in place has made it their personal business to ensure that nothing is working. The systems are failing. But instead of correcting what is failing that has been highlighted by Kenyans, they are concerned about having a select few. How can you talk about having 1,880 people sitting somewhere, drinking tea and mandazi to discuss critical issues around that affect the entire country? The government and the broad-based arrangement has a responsibility to ensure that they implement NADCO and listen to Kenyans. All that they want to be discussed in the conclave have been said times and times through online and social media communications. And the youth are still talking, and I'm also still talking here. These are critical issues that can be addressed without having people confined into certain rooms in the name of conclave. So I want to say that. And on the issue of National Youth Council, this is something that we pushed, and we've been on the front line pushing for the elections of National Youth Council. I am on record calling out the Ministry of Youth and Sports Affairs, calling out the Secretariat of National Youth Council to work with speed and ensure that we have elections of the National Youth Council. For the last 12 years, we've not seen these elections happen. Right now, we are informed that there's a section of young people who are now coming up and saying that they are ready for these elections, well, it is good. But the question is, we must ensure that we are going to have the elections as they should be. We must ensure that we are going to have elections as per the National Youth Council Act of 2019. Because anything less than that, then we are not going to serve the purpose of that council. So I want to tell the ministry led by Salim Mvurya and PS Fikirini that you people need to work with speed and ensure that we are having the structures, the timelines, the dates, and the program for the National Youth Council elections as soon as possible. Kenyan youths are ready to lead this country. Kenyan youths are ready to offer alternative leadership, and the youth must be respected and protected. That's the clarion call. Any young person outside there, I want to tell you that this is the time to step up and offer alternative leadership. It must not be myself, it must not be yourself, but it can be your neighbor who is a young person who has ability to offer the leadership that we are looking for. This is the time. And the National Youth Council will be the test of time and will be the position, they will offer opportunity for any young person to come up and speak to the authorities that be. So you guys turn up and offer alternative leadership and ensure that you contest as per the Constitution and as per the Act of NYC. For any other person who is conflicted on this issue, we are clear in our minds that young people has a responsibility to transform this country. And this is the opportunity. And this will be a trial toward the 2027 elections.